been here in Korea for 15 years already. 15 years! I wish I could say parang kailan lang. But I don't think that's true with me. Because I'm so much different. Physically, of course, mentally, psychologically, in terms of outlook in life, from the Wendy 15 years ago to the Wendy now. So, hindi applicable sa akin yung parang kailan lang. Kasi, ramdam na ramdam ko. I know that 15 years has passed. Hello, this is Wendy. 15 years as a completely wholly Filipino family. My husband is Filipino, I am Filipino, our children are Filipino. What is taking us so long to be living here in Korea? Simple, practical reason, my husband's work. I have mentioned this in my past vlogs. My husband was working with the same company back in the Philippines, and then he was asked to come over to the headquarters here in Korea. 15 years, 2 sons after, and a lot of weight to gain, we are still here in Korea. My husband is working well, and the company is treating him and the family well. I have a vlog about the expat package here in Korea, so you can check it out. Part of the package, which is very, very important for our family, is the international school education of the children. So the boys go to an international school, and if the company does not include that in my husband's package, we are definitely not staying here because international school education is extremely expensive, like super expensive. You can check it out in one of my vlogs. Again, I'll put the link here about the international schools here in Korea. We could not let the kids go to a local school because it's not part of our family plan. Neither my husband and I is a Korean, so it just doesn't fall into the, whole scheme of our family life. Malaking factor, bakit kami nakapag-stay dito ng ganito katagal. I arrived here in Korea April 29. Ngayon, April 29, 15 years na ako dito. I can share a few life lessons. 15 life lessons. Siguro naman you can pick up some life lessons from the 15 life lessons that I'll be sharing with you. Just take it this way. Wisdom comes with age. And since I have the 15 life experience here in Korea and I am aging, you can get some life lessons from what I will be sharing with you. The very first thing that I can share and the very first thing that my husband told me even prior to coming over here in Korea is to not take things personally. Believe me, this is super useful for your peace of mind. Kasi, I know, I've read a lot of foreigners, which we call here Wegokin, here in Korea, who are so angry, stressed out with Koreans and their way of life. With ajumas, a lot of Wegokins feel like they're so rude. And they take it personally, like because she's a Wegokin or he's a Wegokin, that's why the Koreans treat them this way. The thing is, I believed my husband when he told me, do not take these things personally because it's not about you. That is true. It's not because they don't like you or they didn't like me, but it's because it's just the way they are. Koreans are pali-pali. I need to go, get out of my way. They don't even see you being a Korean or a Wegokin because they do the same to other Koreans. It's just the way they are. So let it go. Getting angry with Koreans, losing sleep with Koreans because you are offended with their actuations. Do yourself a favor. Let it go. Second, I respect the structure I respect the culture. I may not agree with a lot of them, but it's not for me to agree or disagree because I am a visitor here. I am a foreigner here. No matter how long I've lived here, 15 years is not a joke. It's 1/3 of my life. I am still a foreigner. Nothing can change that. I have noticed that a lot of foreigners here are angry because they feel like they are being treated as a foreigner when in fact they have been staying here for so long or that they are paying taxes. Pero ganun talaga eh. We are foreigners here. That's a fact that we cannot change. This may not be a popular opinion, but a lot of foreigners are up in arms being called an alien because we have that alien registration card. In the Philippines also, do you know that foreigners living in the Philippines, legally living in the Philippines, have ARCs as well, the alien registration card? When the government tried to change the alien registration card to foreigners card, there were still people complaining na it's not just about the name, it's about how they will be treated. You will not have peace if you are always battling this out. But then again, iba-iba tayo eh. But I am just sharing that this is my outlook. That's why I don't I don't battle it out in my mind how I am called here in Korea. Because even after 15 years, I am still a foreigner. I will always be a foreigner. Nag-iba akong posisyon. Ito, friendship. Maswerte kayo who already have that wisdom to keep your circle small. But then again, iba-iba naman talaga tayo. Iba-ibang personalities. There are people who thrive in big crowds. There are people who thrive in smaller crowds. Depende talaga sa inyo yon. And then I started reaching out. So as your crowd becomes bigger, I'm not just talking about quantity, ha. As your crowd becomes bigger in terms of experience, position, nagkakaroon ng differences din. Yeah, as a foreigner here in Korea, I want my peace of mind, my peaceful existence. As time went by for me, I learned to let go. I learned to go away. I needed to do that because my primary purpose of being here in Korea is to have my family, is to build my own family. And that's it. We all have a need to have friends, especially when we are out of the country. It's your support system. They are your support system. But if they cease to be a support system, and if you cease to be a support system to them, alam nyo na, it's time to break away. Nako, it's good to have friends, right? And admirable talaga yung tao, yung friend na makikipag-away para sa'yo. One thing I really, really learned, and I wish my sons would be able to learn also, is do not fight other people's battle. I have a number of times fought another person's battle. I shouldn't have done that. Kasi, looking back, wala naman talaga akong pakialam eh. Feelingera naman kasi ako. Yung feeling na I'm a good friend, so I should protect this person. Ayun, wag masyadong feelingera na you can protect other people by putting yourself up front. Para ikaw yung titirahin ng titirahin. Kasi pagdating ng panahon, hindi ka naman pala poprotektahan. So, that's one hard lesson learned for me talaga. So, to my younger self, never fight other people's battle. Be wary of deceptive people. Kasi may mga tao talaga who looks gentle, who looks weak, who looks, ay kawawa ka naman ineng. Na parang gusto mo siyang protektahan. Pero yun pala, you're just one of those people na na-manipulate ng kanyang very meek facade. Which brings me to another lesson. Ito, I really learned to differentiate na talaga. May mga tao who are really sincerely prayerful. May mga tao who makes their faith their personal branding. Doon talaga, delikadong-delikado yon. Be wary, be careful in looking at signs that this person is using her faith as her branding. Na before you know it, may mga ginagawa na pala siya sa'yo at sa ibang tao, but it's hard for you to make a stand kasi kawawa naman itong taong to, napakabait niya or napaka-soft-spoken niya. She's always saying about, merciful and blessed and all that. Pero yun pala, napaka-opportunista. Naku, alisin mo na yun sa paligid mo. Tama na, I don't need that kind of person. You don't need that kind of person in your life. Number 6 life lesson na tayo, no? There will always be people who are lesser and greater than you are. Pare-pareho kayong mga foreigners dito. Meron talagang mga umaasta na that they are higher than you are. And merong mga tao na who are in a lesser position than you are. Pero that should not be the defining factor in your relationship with other people. I think people have formed an opinion about me against me here in Korea kasi naunahan na ng iba. Kasi hindi naman ako madaming nakakasalamuha na tao or na Filipino. But other Filipinas have already, talked about me in a not so nice way. This is the 7th life lesson, intuition. Trust your intuition. I think being in a foreign country makes us more intuitive. We have to entertain that part of us kasi the more you entertain that, the sharper it becomes, the sharper your intuition becomes. And usually tama naman yung intuition mo eh. Trust your intuition, lalo na yung mga first impressions mo sa tao. Number 8. Siyempre, because we are in a foreign land, we want to mingle with other people, and what's the best way to do that is to do volunteer work or be in a club, be in an organization. That's nice because it exposes you to other people, it gives you some excitement, it gives you some purpose. In the past, I've had meaningful events, meaningful activities in the organizations that I've belonged to. Meron kaming finorm na organization and we did meaningful, very meaningful projects naman talaga. And I'd been volunteering so much of my time in my children's school. And we had really fancy events then. And it was so nice because my children sees me there. But you've got to know when to stop because you cannot just spend all your life, all your time volunteering. At some point, learn to stop and to back off. Na-appreciate ko yan when I got to interview this other foreign woman here in Korea. Shout out to Marie Kalay. She's a mom also in the school where my sons go to. And one time she just, mentioned about it's good to volunteer at school, but, she has to live her life as well. True naman talaga yon. And that was the time when I should be living my life away from volunteerism, either in the organization that I was with or the school that my children is in. Kasi looking back, oops, my fellow volunteers, they have other lives, they have other work. Yep, it was good while it lasted and it was very meaningful. Those volunteer works were very meaningful. But I've got to know when to stop. You have got to know when to stop din para hindi ka din madidrain. And of course, it means a lot din yung mga tao sa paligid mo. You volunteer with the people that you genuinely like din. Next one, stand tall, hold your ground. Alam naman natin that we are Filipinos, we come from a third world country, and there are biases against us as a country, as a people. Pero Do not let that deter you from standing tall. In my case kasi, that's very true for me because my my sons go to an international school, diba? I volunteer a lot at school before. And there was this activity at school that I have to, show our culture, Philippine culture. So I went to this grade. They're really young kids, like really young kids. And then when they learned that I was Filipino, you're Filipino. My nanny is a Filipino. The other one, my nanny is a Filipino. My nanny is a Filipino. Ganun lahat ang salubong sa akin. Alam ko, cliche itong sasabihin ko that there's nothing wrong about what you do about being a nanny, right? But take it from where I stand. I'm parenting that school. That setting as parents is an equalizer, supposedly, for all of us. It doesn't matter which country you are from. And children as they are, and totoo naman talaga, these children are children of embassy officials or children of CEOs, directors of companies. So they have that perk of having household help and nannies. Me being a parent in that school, sasalubungin mo akong ganyan. And me representing my country, medyo off siya sa akin that time. But I was dealing with children. The teacher naman, although it took a long time, a little bit longer time for the teacher to just stop it, to gently tell the children, let's go on now with what Miss Wendy is going to present to us about the Philippine culture. I have to be honest, it affected me in a way. But I have to stand strong, I have to stand tall. Meron din yung mga experiences ko before with Koreans during our early years here. We live in an office style. Office style is not your regular apartment, so it has residential and it has office units then. So medyo high-end yung building, medyo high-end yung you cannot just go out, in your simple clothes. At least dress up when you go out because the people around are dressed up because some of them have offices there. One experience that stood out for me because I was the only Filipina living in that office style. Korean, for them kasi it's not offensive to ask this. Oh, you live here. This is an expensive place. Are you married to a Korean? No. Oh, are you married to a foreigner, Wegokin? Wegokin for them is not my fellow Filipino. I'm married to a Filipino. Where does your husband work? I told them where my husband worked, and that was when the transparent twinkle in her eyes came out. So yung mga ganun tipo. I've learned to deal with those things through the years that I've been living here in Korea. Dealing with my fellow Filipinos, dealing with Koreans, dealing with other foreigners. This is very important. I shy away, I go away, I run when I am with foreigners who complain a lot. Because there are many who complain a lot. Nothing is good about Korea or Koreans or other people. It's draining, mentally draining, psychologically draining, and seriously, there's nothing that you can do about the complaints. So give yourself that peace. Put a wall around you from those kind of people, and there are plenty of that. Once you tell them to stop complaining, they'll even complain more and they will tell you how bad you are. You are not being sensitive to their feelings. All they want is affirmation of how they feel. I don't need that. I don't need a toxicity. So run away. I never thought this is so tiring. My 11th life lesson. Ika-11th na tayo. Napapagod na ako. Napapagod na ang mata ko. This is really true. I know. Very true din sa akin to. People have already formed their opinion about you. From what they heard about you, from what they cared to listen to about you. Do you still bother to change that or to correct that? Do you still bother to justify yourself? Me no more na. It's not that bahala kayo about what you think about me. I have just learned to accept that you cannot cliche, please everyone. No matter what you do, no matter how much you try, minsan pa, the more that you try to please people, the more that they will not really like you. Kung may mga opinions na sila na na-form about you, sige na, you know, do they matter? Do what they think really matter? Ideally, of course, they matter. What other people think about us matters a lot. Pero kasi, you cannot be imprisoned by that. People, no matter what you say, no matter how lengthy your explanation is, if people have already formed an opinion about you because another person is more convincing, another person had been very convincing, wala ka na magagawa doon. Let it go. Kasi, you have to know what matters to your life. Importante yun. Hindi lahat ng bagay should matter and hindi lahat ng tao should matter. Next, being in a foreign country, you have to be fully convicted of the kind of mother that you want to be. I talked about this in my other video, life as a stay-at-home mom here in Korea. Alam ko anong klaseng nanay ako that I want to be. Kaya the way I bring up my children are, geared into that path that I want. Tapos dito pa sa Korea, everybody wants their children to excel, academic and all that. Nakaka-pressure yon ha, sobra. Kasi their children know how to play the guitar, the piano, lahat-lahat na. And then excellent in math, excellent in science, lahat-lahat. Nakaka-pressure yun as a mom. You have to know your family values. You have to know the kind of mothering that you want to do para hindi ka nalilito at hindi ka na easily sway ng ibang mga moms, ibang mga style of parenting. Kasi madami yan around you. Lalo na, we are in a foreign country. Kailangan maging fully convicted ka sa ano ang inyong lifestyle. Which brings me to another one. I think it's the 13th na you have children na, right? Do not use your children as tools for competition. That's really very evident here. Sa international school, hindi masyado, pero kasi before I dealt with Korean moms then, it really shows, lumalabas talaga that, my son is like this, my daughter is like this. So do not make your children tools for competition. Kanya-kanyang personality yung mga bata, kanya-kanyang kakayahan yung mga anak nyo. Yun. So those are two related life lessons that I've learned from being babies, from, my children being babies, to toddlers, to preteens, and now teens. And this is not going to be popular to other women, especially strong women. But through the years, it's been proven. I should listen to my husband. Mostly, my husband is right. For my family, that's it. 15. If I can go back to my earliest days, dapat pinursigi ko to learn Korean. Because until now, 15 years na ako dito, I can speak very little Korean. I can understand little Korean. It's good to learn another language. Talagang it's for your self-growth eh. Kaya lang I never did. I think I took big pride in the fact that the people around me wanted to speak English to me, with me, and I didn't really need the Korean language to survive because, well, the children go to an international school and the people around me are actually adjusting to me in the language that I am comfortable in, and they speak English to me. So, hindi nagkaroon ng pressure, that much pressure for me to speak the language to survive here in Korea. If there is anyone who you want to talk to, how to survive Korea without learning the language, ako na yon. Ask me na. But, if you can speak the language, if you can learn the language, learn it. That's it! Napagod ako talking about these life lessons. Kasi I was not just talking, I was also bringing back memories doon sa mga life lessons na pinagsasabi ko. I hope you learned something out of this video. I think this is not just living here in Korea. This is also true about, living in other countries that is not your country, living in other places where your family is not around, where you need to adjust. So there, I hope this video has been useful to you also in one way or another. Try to check some of my videos under Living in Korea with Wendyflor playlist. I'm sure may makukuha kayong mga information sa mga videos na yon on living here in Korea. Ayun, bago pa ako makatulog at mas lalong lalaki pa yung eye bags ko sa kakasalita dito at sa pagod, I have to end it here. Pero, let me know also in the comment section below. Do share with me also your own life lessons in living in other countries. Kasi you are married to a Korean, you are married to another nationality, and you're living somewhere else, and you're in the same situation as I am, or you're a fully Filipino family living in another country. Share niyo naman yung life lessons ninyo. By sharing our experiences and our thoughts, we help each other. So, till the next one,